Yes, people, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We're back again. The end of the season, it is finally over. Arsenal beating Brighton 2-0 has marked the end of the 2020-2021 season. Nicola Pepe has been sensational in his last 3 Arsenal games. Right about now, I think I'm the happiest fan. I mean, what a way to end the season. What a way to end the season. We're going to talk about much, especially this season, how I wrap up the season, how I think about the season. But basically, I think what we are going to do is try to get our perspectives deep in what has been our season and what has this performance really got to do with what we have to do next season. Nicola Pepe has scored both goals in Arsenal 2, Brighton 0. Nicola Pepe in the 49th minute and Nicola Pepe in the 60th minute. Both goals have been sensational. Sensational beauties. I think that is why we signed Nicola Pepe. That is that is what he adds to the team. Those brilliant, sensational strikes, you expect them from such a player. We're gonna talk about match. Please do subscribe to the channel. Please do make sure you hit the like button. This is the last match reaction this season, so I will need to get much of your thoughts. I will need to get in much of your thoughts and try to understand what you people think about Arsenal this season. I think this is a match reaction that is gonna encompass all the whole season. We cannot talk about Arsenal Brighton alone. We need to talk about the whole season, and that is only to be fair enough. We need to talk about the whole season. So this is how we started off. Banleno was in goal, Rob Holding and Gabriel Magalhaes as the centre-back pairing. Kian Tierney and Chambers were the full-backs. Thomas Partey played alongside Granit Xhaka in midfield. Martin Odegaard, Emile Smith-Rowe and Nicola Pepe played behind Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who as well did nothing in this game, as always. Brighton on the other side. They started with Sanchez in goal. They had a back four with Webster, White, Dunk, and Ban. They had a midfield of 3 with Yves Bissouma, Grob, and Moda, and then they had a front 3 with the likes of McAllister, Trossard, and Jaha Baha. 4-3-3 was the formation. They went for, and we went for a 4-2-3-1, and the result has been very, very, very positive in terms of Arsenal. Of course, I've seen so many Arsenal fans very, very happy on Twitter. Okay, the statistics in this game, a little bit positive. Arsenal recorded 16 shots on goal. Brighton recorded 5. Recorded 5 shots on target and scored 2. They recorded 1 shot on target. We had the ball 55%. They had the ball. They kept the ball 45% of the time. We recorded 563 passes in this game. They recorded 480 passes in this game. We had an 88% passing accuracy. They had 86% passing accuracy. 10 fouls for Arsenal, 8 fouls for Brighton. No yellow cards in the game. No red cards in the game. 2 offsides for Arsenal, 1 for Brighton. 11 corners recorded for Arsenal and 3 corners recorded for Brighton. So it looks like in terms of statistics, we were at it. We did it. It was our game. In terms of the table, it has finished Arsenal 8th, just where we finished last season. We have on the table. This is funny. This is funny, isn't it? Okay, let me try to. Yeah, it is. It is funny. On the table, at the moment, Arsenal is the only team that has won 5 out of their last 5 games. It is Arsenal. Only us have won 5 of our last 5 games in the Premier League. So it looks like we had a happy ending. He who laughs last laughs best. I don't know whether our laugh was the best, but like I said, we have won 5 out of our last 5 games. We were unlucky. Spurs finished ahead of us. They have eventually beaten Leicester City, and Leicester City have just failed to qualify for the Champions League. So we have finished 8th, Spurs 7th, West Ham United 6th, Leicester City 5th, 4th is Chelsea, Liverpool. Eventually, my title winners, the team that I thought would win the title, have finished third. United, a club that I never expected to be in the top 4, has finished second. And Manchester City, a club that I expected to finish second, have finished first as title winners. So that is that has been the season so far. But let's try to talk about the game particularly. I think it is a game. It's a game that really doesn't reflect what our season has been, because our season has been poor performance after poor performance, poor result after poor result. I think the last 5 games only show us what Arsenal wants to do, what we would have wanted, what our season should have been. It doesn't really show what our season has been, because beating Brighton 2-0 is the first time we've beaten Brighton home and away ever since 1890. So it's been a very, very long time. But I'm happy for the win. I'm very, very glad. I wanted to finish the season like this, because like I said, it was a game that really meant nothing. Everton were going to lose to Manchester City. That was clear. Spurs have beaten Leicester City, so we have finished 8th. I don't know whether this takes us to the Conference League, because the top 4 go to Champions League. Then 5th and 6th, I think, go to the Europa League. I don't know whether 7th and 8th will actually go to the Conference League. I don't know whether we have qualified for the Conference League, or we have actually missed out on the Conference League. I'll try to confirm with that, or someone can tell me. You people can tell me in the comments, have we qualified for the Conference League? But it's a game that only for me reflects what Arsenal should be doing. That's the kind of football we should be playing. That's the kind of games fans want to see. People pay a lot of money to watch Arsenal play, and that is the game. Those are the performances you want your club to display. It doesn't really reflect what we have, what we've been through our whole season. And you know what? Everybody's gonna say, and I've seen people celebrating, and everybody's gonna say, Arsenal is back again, because we have won 5 out of 5, and Pepe has scored 3 out of in 3 consecutive games, closing the season. But the question is, why are we here? Why is the club 8th? There has been no progress from last season. It's because our performances this season have been just poor. Because if you look at the number of points we are 6 points behind top 4. Because Chelsea have 67 points, and we have 61 points. West Ham have 65 points. Spurs have 62. So we are just 6 points behind top 4. Fair enough. I mean, it's fair enough. You could say we are not very far, but I don't think West Ham should be ahead of us. I don't think Leicester City should be ahead of us. I mean, in terms of where we need to be, they don't need to be ahead of us. So we can't get carried away that we've beaten Brighton. It's a good win. I mean, you do appreciate your club beating Brighton, your club winning a match. The pressure is away. There is no pressure of losing. We don't have to carry out big hearts, and we don't need to keep hurting the whole week because we have lost the game. We have I think we deserved the win. It's a well-deserved win, but it doesn't reflect what our season has been. And the question is, where has this football come? Why has this football come at the end of the season? We have won 18 games, drawn 7, and lost 13 games. So imagine winning. We have 5 more wins than the number of losses we have. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. If you look at if you compare us to the likes of Liverpool have 20 wins and they have 9 losses. Yeah, so they almost have 10 games greater. The likes of Leicester City, they have 20 wins. We have 18, and we have lost so many games. That's the reason as why we are where we are. We have lost so many games. We should have done better at the beginning of the season. We dropped points that we shouldn't have dropped, and it was courtesy of Mikel Arteta. It was courtesy of Mikel Arteta being naive. The likes of Nicola Pepe, he was performing in the Europa League. You don't give him a chance. The likes of William Saliba, you let him go. You play with the worst defense. You leave out Mesut Ozil. It was bound to happen. It was really bound to happen. So, for me, this performance at the end of the season means how do we reflect on our season? And it is, it's a very big question. Many Arsenal fans, have got to ask themselves: how do we reflect on our season? Has it been a good season? No, it hasn't been. It hasn't been a good season. It's been an absolutely shocking season. That's the truth. Shocking season. Nothing positive to take out of it. And apart from the last 5 wins, consecutive wins, it's a good run. 5 consecutive games wins. It's a good run. But apart from that, there is nothing really this Arsenal team should be proud of this season. There is nothing. Yeah, Nicola Pepe has scored has scored 10 goals this season, by the way, and he has scored in 3 consecutive games this season. He's been a star in Europa League, but at the end, what has the club achieved? Because for me, that is what matters. We have had 3 players score 10 and above Premier League goals. Lacazette has scored more than 10, Aubameyang scored more than 10, and Nicola Pepe. But where does that put the team? 8th. Well, literally, we have not made any progress from where we were last season to where we are this season. No progress. No progress, FC. That's it. So, the reason to celebrate is less. I need to confirm if we have qualified for. I need to really confirm if you have qualified for the Conference League. But I don't want us even to go to the Conference League. Honestly, I don't want Arsenal to go to the Conference League. Let us stay in the Premier League and try to rebuild ourselves as a club. Try to make sure that we come back as a club. I think that is that's the best thing we do. Okay, we have not qualified for we have not qualified for the Conference League. This is according to Mr. DT. He said, "I'm glad we are not in the European Conference League. A season out of Europe might be just what we need. I'm going to go and enjoy my summer now. It's been a stressful season." And honestly, let's say this: it's been a very stressful season, very stressful. Watching your team lose 13 games. That means you lose a game every 2 weeks. Every 2 game weeks, you lose a game. It's been stressful. It's been a stressful season. Many Arsenal fans want to believe that the team has bounced back. We have not bounced back. We have not bounced back. We are actually in the same mud. We've got to start right now at the end of the season. Let us start right about now. Start doing the transfer business early. Let us try to reflect on our poor season. This has been the worst season. No humble words for it. No humble words. The players, the board, Mikel Arteta. This has been the worst season you can ever give to an Arsenal fan. Almost 4 consecutive, 5 consecutive, 6 consecutive weeks without a win. I can never forget that. Forget all this shit that the club has been the second best since Christmas. I mean, where were we before Christmas? And if we have been second best, after Christmas, why aren't we in the Champions League? It doesn't matter whether we've been second best after Christmas or third best after Christmas. Truth is, the season has been disappointing. We've been an absolute bismal and we played the worst football ever. That's it. I'm happy for the win. Everybody's happy for the win. I'm happy for Nicola Pepe. I think the £72 million is reflecting. I think he's done his thing. And honestly, he's done it. He's done his thing. When you look at players like Nicola Pepe, and you ask yourself, why did we sign him? To score the kind of goals he's scoring. I really love it because he doesn't score. You're never gonna find him as a lone striker or get into those one-on-ones with the goalkeeper. But he really scores goals that a Nicola Pepe goals, winger goals from the wing. Those are goals that are meant to supplement goals coming through the middle. And I think he's done it brilliantly well at the end of the season. But we need more. Next season, he's got to start from there. But the problem, what's going to happen is next season, Mikel Arteta is going to drum him to the bench. That is how we played last season. When we were finishing last season, Mesut Ozil was on top of his game. Ainsley Maitland-Niles was on top of his game. Eventually, both of them dropped out of this, out of the squad. So this season, a very rough season with for every fan, a very, very rough season. I can't blame anyone, in terms of the fans. I really can't blame anyone. It's been a season where the fans have suffered a lot. It's been a season where, we just have to reflect. It's been a poor season. Absolutely abysmal. A shaming season. We have set the stage. We are not going to play in any European competition because of this season. And I'm happy for it. I'm really, really happy for it. Let's stay out of Europe and see what's going to happen. Let us stay out of the season and see what's going to happen. Yeah? Because it wouldn't make sense if we finished 8th or 7th, actually. If we finished 7th and went to the Conference League, it would actually mean that Arsenal has cheated its way into Europe. I never wanted that. I wanted us to face the consequences of our season. I wanted us to face to reap the real fruits of our season. And for me, the real fruits of our season are what we are looking at. No Europa League, no title, no Champions League, no Conference League. You're literally going to play FA Cup, Carling Cup, and the Premier League next season. That's it. There is nothing like cheating your way into the Super League. There is nothing like cheating your way into Conference League. And many Arsenal fans are really, really funny. People wanted us to go to the Conference League. It would have been good if we had worked for it. If we had spent all our season in 8th, 7th, you could pray like, we deserve to be 7th. But we don't even deserve to be where we are. We don't deserve to be ahead of Everton. We don't deserve to be ahead of Leeds. We don't deserve to be ahead of Aston Villa. At least for those teams, they have played better football than Arsenal this season. If you're an Aston Villa fan, you must be, you must feel cheated. How is Everton? How is Leeds? How is Aston Villa below Arsenal this season? They should be above us. And for me, the point we make this season, everything we talk about this season goes back to how it started, how we got back, how we got into this position, the board, the recruitment, the manager. We've had a manager whole season who has never had a starting lineup. He drops Saka, starts Smith Rowe. He drops Smith Rowe. He plays holding. He has never had a starting lineup. We have a manager who has never trusted his players. We have a manager who has never had real tactics for the whole season. At times I feel we are lucky. You could say, Arsenal have been lucky this season. And I can absolutely do agree with you. We've been lucky this season to finish 8th with the kind of performances that we have had. We are lucky. A team that went almost 6 weeks without a win. 6 weeks without a win. To finish 8th, we are lucky. Very, very lucky. But no progress. That is the thing you people have think about that. There is nothing to celebrate about in this Arsenal team. We've not had any progress, and that's it. We finished 8th last season. We have finished 8th this season. There is no progress. We've scored 55 goals. We have conceded 39 goals. A goal difference of 16. Absolutely a mid-table performance. Mid-table. Spurs have a better goal difference than we have. So we have had a mid-table performance and we have finished mid-table. I hope this is going to change next season. We can't keep seeing poor football 5 consecutive years. 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017 and 2016. These years have been the worst in the history of an Arsenal fan. The worst. This is the worst football we have ever seen from Arsenal. This is the worst season we have ever seen. We are counting our losses, and they're almost on the same scale as the number of wins. So a lot has to be done next season, people. A lot has to be done. There is no way we are going to think about Arsenal as a team, Arsenal as a club that wants to become better if we gauge it with low ambitions. 8th is not acceptable. There is no reason to celebrate. There is no reason to celebrate. Spurs have finished ahead of us. West Ham have finished ahead of us. Leicester City have finished ahead of us. Those are clubs that shouldn't be finishing ahead of us. Our problems should rather be Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and Manchester United. I think those should be our problems. But if you have to deal with Leicester City, if you have to deal with the likes of West Ham, then we are not the club we think we are. So, guys, for me, it's been a bad season. I can't find positives apart from Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. Those are the only 2 positives we got in this season. Because right from Christmas, Boxing Day, call it whatever you want, when Emile Smith-Rowe is introduced in this squad, that is when we get some life. And the whole season, Arsenal has been riding off the back of one player, Bukayo Saka. Those are the only 2 positives. Only 2 positives you can take out of this season. But the rest of the players, to the manager, I don't think you can pick a positive. Maybe and Kian Tierney, obviously. And Kian Tierney. I think there's a positive there. 3 positives, probably. Tierney, Smith-Rowe, and Saka. I know many of you in the chat are going to tell me about Nicola Pepe. Nicola Pepe has had a poor season. There's no questions about that. It's not about the money. It's all, it's about him as a player. Pepe has had a good season. If we can talk about all the players at this football club that have been engaged actively in this season, Leno, the number of mistakes he has committed this season, you can't tell me, you can't convince me that Leno gets a positive. Leno has been one of our problems, actually. Honestly. He has been one of our problems. We've been conceding goals that we shouldn't be conceding. He's a top-class goalkeeper, for Christ's sake. He's not Manuel Amunia. He's not David Ospina. He's Ban Leno. And expected more out of Ban Leno. So Leno, for me, he's been average. He's not been the worst goalkeeper, but he's been average. Absolutely average. Performances that are not acceptable. Hector Bellerin, the worst season. The worst season in his career. I've seen people really compile, a very heartful message of Hector Bellerin that he's leaving the club. He's been, he's had essential roles to play in our FA Cup journeys. Really, let's focus on the truth. Hector Bellerin this season, yeah, he's done some things at the club, and I do respect that. He's played so much football for Arsenal. He's been loyal, but he's been absolutely poor this season. One of the worst players at Arsenal this season. If I'm still gauging, it is either Dani Ceballos or Bellerin or Rob Holding. But Bellerin has been absolutely stinking this season. He has attacked the fans, and I still ask myself, what moral authority does this guy have to attack the fans? You're playing poor football, the club is losing, you're the worst player in the side, and then you attack the fans. Come on. So Bellerin has been not average, but absolutely stinking. Cedric has had a mixed season, but there was a time when I thought he should start ahead of Bellerin. But when I saw him, his performances this season, I don't think I've seen any performance from Cedric to say he's been sensational. He's been average. Another average player. Callum Chambers, well tried. That's it. He's the only right back that I think, we can say well tried. The rest have been stinking average. When we go to the centre backs, Gabriel Magalhaes, well, I'm gonna give him, a positive, because first and foremost, new to the league, he's a young defender, needs to learn a lot. The Premier League is one of the hardest the hardest leagues. It's your debut season, and he has tried to perform at that level you expect him to. So I'll try to give him a positive. I really do give him a positive, especially the fact that he started off the league well, and because of the inconsistencies of the manager, twisting and turning the defense, twisting and turning the squad, the lineup, the players lacked that chemistry. So I'll give Gabriel a positive. Rob Holding, average. Absolutely average. I don't know whether he's been average as a player, in Rob Holding, or he's been absolutely poor. Hit the like button, people, and thanks everybody for tuning in. But Rob Holding, oh my God, I don't know. I can't seem to lose focus on that free header he granted Raheem Sterling. Sterling is as short as a yam. If you know yams, if you've seen yams, that is how tall Raheem Sterling is. Very short. And Raheem Sterling, at the beginning of the game, Raheem Sterling heads home. Really. And not only that, Jota also wins an aerial ball on Rob Holding. Jota. And against Villarreal, we concede another goal courtesy of Rob Holding losing an aerial tackle, an aerial duel. So he's been losing aerial duels this season, and he has really cost us so many goals. But I think he's been shaky as a person. He's been average. Rob Holding has been average this season. Absolutely average. I wouldn't take him next season. Never. I would rather play Gabriel and Chambers, or Gabriel and William Saliba, because Mikel Arteta is not. There is nothing so justifiable. If you're playing Rob Holding and Gabriel, then Saliba and Gabriel can play together in that defense, and they will be organized. So Rob Holding, truth is, he's been absolutely average. The only thing I'll give him is the consistency. He's been appearing game in, game out for Arsenal. I think he's one of the players that have played so many games at the club this season. So that's the only thing I'll give him. The rest has been absolutely shocking. David Louis, apart from the injuries, I think he's improved a lot from last season. I think injuries have done us a lot of negatives. We should have seen him better. We should have seen better because he's been better than last season. So David Louis is leaving the club at the end of the season. I'll discuss him in a 10-minute video. I have no issues with you, bro. Goodbye. You will not be missed. That's the truth. I'm not going to miss David Louis so much. Of course, he adds some things to the club. Things like experience, things like leadership. But I mean, what he did to us last season, I can't forget. He screwed us up. He screwed us. So Luis this season, he's not been so poor. Pablo Mari this season, he's not had so many games to play. I think he's been a little bit decent. Not sensational like many people are going to say. I think Pablo Mari has been decent. Just decent. He's been a decent defender. And I hope to see him more next season. Left back, Kian Tierney. He's been the best defender we've had at the team. The best defender, my captain. Tierney has had a progressive, consistent, good season. When did we last see? I think we've seen only 2 or 3 poor performances from Kian Tierney. Around 2 or 3 only. And for me, he's been white out of dark in that defense. There is no player who's been consistent and consistently good as Kian Tierney in this season. No player. Absolutely no one. So Tierney, I give him whatever mark. Excellent. Got, and I think he's among the 5, the 3 or 5 players contesting for player of the season. He's been absolutely good. He started the season well, and he's ended it well. Apart from the few injuries, and I think we need to work on his injuries. We can't lose him to injuries at that rate. We can't do that. But Tien has been sensational. Sid Kolasinac, before leaving on loan, he's been the worst. If he hadn't left for Shark 04, he would have been the worst player, but he left. Of course, you can't talk about Matt Ryan, who came in on loan from Brighton. I think he's done well as well as a player. Matt Ryan has done well as a player as well. So no questions about him. In the midfield, this is when I've been more disappointed. Very disappointing. Our midfield this season has been the worst. Honestly, we've got to think about it. We've got to talk about it. We've had the worst midfield this season. Thomas Partey, he has failed to give us what he was meant to give us. He struggled with fitness, injuries, and lack of quality around him. Granit Xhaka, not good enough. He's been consistent, he's been good, but not good enough. I don't know whether it makes sense. I know many people are going to tell me how good he has been, how consistent he's been. I've seen that. But in terms of Granit Xhaka, we need an upgrade. Because think about it, we have Granit Xhaka, United have Paul Pogba and Donny van der Beek. We have Granit Xhaka, Chelsea have N'Golo Conte. So we need an upgrade, a very, very fast upgrade. So Xhaka this season has been reliable. That's the first thing. But he started off poorly. He started the season very, very poorly, making funny decisions, getting stupid red cards. But the moment he came back from that red card in December, I think it's been brilliant. It's been decent. But I would go for an upgrade. Thomas Partey, I think next season, this season, he's been how are they called when you are a bride. He's been a bride this season, and brides, you never go too hard on them. Any mistake is because you're new. But next season, we expect a lot of work from Thomas Partey. A lot of work. Dani Ceballos, an absolute stinker of a season. Absolute stinker. I don't want anyone to be behind Dani Ceballos. At least this is one player we cannot defend. The rest we can. Ceballos is one player we can't defend at the club. How do you defend Dani Ceballos? That what? He's been the worst player in that midfield. Elneny has been better than him. So Ceballos, an absolute stinker of a season. Stinker. Go back to Real Madrid and never think about coming back to the Premier League again, because it's not your league. You cannot play here. That's it. It's not his league. To hell with Dani Ceballos. What a season. What a player. A player who only distributes the ball to the left. A player who is so slow. A player who cannot pass the ball 2 yards. I don't know what Dani Ceballos has been at this season, but he's been absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. We can't defend his performances. That is how poor he's been. We can't defend his performances. This season, Ceballos has been the worst midfielder at the club. Hector Bellerin has been the worst defender at the club. Emile Smith-Rowe, brilliant, hasn't he? He's been brilliant. He's been sensational. He's come in. He's scored a couple of goals for Arsenal Football Club. He's created a couple of chances. He really changed. There was a massive change courtesy of Emile Smith-Rowe when he was introduced in that team in December, Boxing Day, starting with the Chelsea game. There was a lot that changed. A lot that changed, and I hope to see more of Smith-Rowe next season. Give him a contract. That's the first thing we've got to do. Give him a contract. There is nothing he doesn't deserve. He's earned absolutely everything. He's absolutely earned everything. So Smith-Rowe, I wouldn't say really he's been my best midfielder. I will try to compromise the likes of Odegaard, because why I do like Odegaard is Martin Odegaard is new to this to the Premier League. He's very new to the country in England, so he had a lot to adapt to. And what he has done this season, I know many people are saying Martin Odegaard. Many people are blaming Martin Odegaard. He should be happy. You should be happy that he is a player, a young player coming out from Spain to England and is forced to act, or to act under pressure. We should be happy. We should be a little bit grateful. Honestly, we should be grateful that we have managed at least to have some good performances from this young lad, and it's sensational. We might not retain him at the end of the season. We might not have the money to buy him at £50 million or 45, but it's been sensational. It's been good. Give him the credit. So my best midfielder this season, I'll try to vote between Smith Rowe and Martin Odegaard. You can vote for me, people, and let's see who gets them. If they gets the better of the other. Mohamed Elneny this season, well, we can't say that. For me, Elneny doesn't have a problem as a person. He's professional, he's a good player, but not good enough. That's it. He's not the Arsenal level. But you've seen him, banging some bangers. And many Arsenal fans have been, have been shouting in praise, but not good enough. Not good enough. Many people are saying, "Are you happy that we are not in the UEFA Conference League?" I'm very happy, bro. I'm very happy that we're not in the UEFA Conference League. So, people, honestly, the truth is our midfield has been so poor. We need a lot of reinforcements. We need a lot of changes in that midfield. The wingers, Saka, Martinelli, Pepe, Willian, and the worst midfielder for me has been Ceballos, and the best, you people have to choose between Smith Rowe and Odegaard. So, in terms of the wing, I think it's a little bit easy. Willian has been the worst winger at the club this season, and Saka has been the best winger. People, I've seen people say, has Pepe been our best player this season? Come on. Do not forget Bukayo Saka. Please and please, Arsenal fans, do this for me. Don't forget Saka this season. You can do the rest of the other things. You can do whatever you want. Don't forget Saka. It would be absolutely unfair if we forgot Bukayo Saka and what he has done at this football club. It would be absolutely unfair. So don't forget Saka. It's been absolutely brilliant for us this season. Absolutely brilliant. There is no reason Saka is not our player of the season. Why? Tell me, people. If not Saka, then who? It's been Saka. It's been Saka. When the club was all down, Saka lifted the club. The likes of Nicola Pepe, these are players that are shining because the club is back again. Because the club is backing them. Other players are also working with them. Saka was there when we were playing Manchester City. He was the only player alive. Still remember such games. So Saka is my best winger and my best player of the season. Willian, brought him in. He's done a lot of nonsense. He's really done a lot of nonsense. And I tend to still ask myself how we signed Willian on a free. I mean, I don't know what we are looking at. The reports have it that he's gonna leave. It has been awful. He's been awful. That is not what I expected when we signed him. Nicola Pepe, a good end to the season, a very poor start. A very, very poor start to the season. And we've got to, when we are evaluating the season, you do not evaluate the end. You evaluate the whole season. Pepe has been brilliant to the end, very poor to the start. So he's the second best player on the wings. Martinelli, I think, is a player that has delivered whenever he's got the chance. We don't blame him. Nobody blames Gabriel Martinelli for whatever shortness of goals or anything or football. Nobody blames him. He's not get the chance. And I think next season he needs to get the chances better and better. The strikers, Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with Eddie Nketiah. I think Lacazette has been our best striker this season, followed by Aubameyang, who's had a nightmare of a season. Nightmare of a season. Eddie Nketiah with Lacazette performing well and Aubameyang trying to struggle because he's his captain. You didn't expect a lot to, you didn't expect him to get a lot of football. So I can't really blame Nketiah for his performances this season. So people, I think It's been a bad season, but regardless, what do? We roll. Majuma says, finally Pepe deserves a gift. He doesn't deserve anything. He doesn't deserve anything. Those performance, that is the end of the season. Where was he throughout the whole season? He doesn't deserve anything. Honestly. I mean, I'm not being so rude, but I wouldn't give anything to Nicola Pepe. It's been good at the end of the season, but you need to perform like that throughout the whole season. Honestly, I wouldn't give him anything. I wouldn't give Nicola Pepe anything. Thanks for your content all season. Thank you so much, Gogo. I'm in Nigeria, where life can be so boring, but you kept me out of them. Generally, a disappointing season, but it's time to work cronkies to go out. Yeah, really and truly. And thank you so much for appreciating. Thank you so much for appreciating, Gogo. Thank you so much, bro. Yeah, and he said, Leicester City, Chief Bottlers. I mean, I don't know. Every season, they're like that. I don't know what's wrong with them. Every season, they're gonna bother you. Every season, they're gonna throw away an opportunity to play in Europe. I don't know what's so wrong with them. I just understand. I can't understand what is so wrong with them. Soft media, you're saying that I think let us prepare ourselves so that we can be good next season. I mean, I love the spirit in the Arsenal fan base. I really love the spirit in the Arsenal fan base. Every season, including me, not only you people, including me, every season, I feel like we should do better next season. Smash the like button, people. Thank you so much. But every season we feel like we want to do better. We should do better. But eventually, the club disappoints. Next season, you're gonna see this same Arsenal perform so poorly. You're gonna see this same Arsenal perform so poorly, and it's disappointing, really disappointing. Majuma says Saka is a good player for the season because Arsenal, we are totally dead, but also Smith Rowe deserves a good gift. Yeah, Smith Rowe deserves a very good gift. Smith Rowe deserves a very good gift, but Saka is player of the season. That cannot change, people. That really cannot change. We cannot kick out Bukayo Saka. Saka has been our best player of the season. Honestly, there's no. I mean, Pepe can come in as a contender. Gabriel can come in as a contender. Smith Rowe can come in as a contender. But no one will be better than Saka this season, unless we are crazy. But if we are not crazy, Saka has been our player of the season. Honestly. Oluranti says, hi Cossy, what do you think about Arsenal this season? We've been absolutely poor. Absolutely poor. And honestly, I should say this, we have performed below our expectations. We have performed below our standards. I think this Arsenal side had the ability at least to finish in the top 6 spots. Top 6. We had the ability. So we have really performed below our expectations, below our how should I call it? Below our bar. We should have at least finished top 6. But Mikel Arteta is to blame. It's like as it's saying this according to soft media. Reports are having that that we want to give him a 1 year a 1 year contract. So I don't know what really that means. That Arsenal want to give Alexander Lacazette a 1 year contract. So I don't know what that really means. Adetona says Pepe is brilliant today. Anyway, but still, we need to do a lot in this club called Arsenal. A lot has, that's the truth. A lot has to be done. A lot has to be done. In the summer, the next season, we have to do much more. Much more, honestly. Bab says, why do you say El Neni not good enough to be Arsenal player? It's laughable because we haven't found a replacement for him, or we can't afford to buy a player better than him in years. Not really. If you look at the Arsenal that had the likes of Santi Cazorla, the likes of Jack Wilshere, the likes of Aaron Ramsey, Mohamed El Neni doesn't start there. He doesn't. So I do not really agree that 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 we can't afford to buy a player better than Mohamed El Neni. That's not true. That's not really true. Pepe has not done something good for us. Let's see. Pepe has not done something good for us. Let's see what he can do next season. I think Pepe is gonna. We need to judge Pepe next season. Let us not get carried away. This season, it's not been so brilliant. That's the truth. It's not been so brilliant. It's not been so brilliant. Okay, let's see what you people are saying in the chat. Please do not attack AFTV. I really do love their channel. Nicolas Pepe has proven worth. Not really, people. Not really, people. You're getting carried away. You're really getting carried away. Pepe has not really proven his worth yet. Not really. I'm not talking about in terms of the money, but I think if you look at him as a player, you feel like there is more he can offer. But at the moment, he has not really given that start. Because he was what came over Alba these last games, he's good for nothing. You know what? I really can't explain why Aubameyang has been so poor this season. I really can't explain as a person. Honestly, I can't tell why Aubameyang has been very poor this season. I can't tell. Odegaard has to stay in the club. This is according to Albert. Thank you so much. Gogo says, because you are wicked, Sterling as short as a yam. This man is bad. No, really and truly, Sterling is so short, man. Sterling so short, and I was very pissed with Rob Holding. How would you lose a header to Raheem Sterling, to Diego Jota, Sterling? Those men are short, bro. They're very short. If you're a defender at Arsenal, shouldn't be losing headers to such players. Not really. But you know what? I don't want to take a piece, at these players at the end of the season. We've got to reflect. Arsenal to UEFA Conference League. No, we have not qualified for the UEFA Conference League. People tell me, do you think it is a good thing that we have not qualified for the UEFA Conference League? And between Smith Rowe and Odegaard, who has been the better player? That is the question. Between Smith Rowe and Odegaard, who has been the better player? And what do you think? What do you feel about us not qualifying for the Conference League? Kroenke doesn't care about the happiness of Arsenal fans. God punish him. As according to Michael, the fire, the volcanic eruptions that are happening in Congo, you just need to drown that Kroenke in. So that we never see him again. You know what? Cossy, well done, but Mikel Arteta must go. Game over. Can you imagine? This season, the board has to go. Arteta has to go. Many people have to leave. Honestly, many people have to leave the club. So, thank you so much for being really realistic. Thank you so much for being realistic. I really do love real Arsenal fans. Mikel Arteta is honestly not good enough, and the Arsenal board is not serious at all. That's according to Michael as well. Thank you so much, Michael, for that comment. Nothing to celebrate at all. This is Michael as well. Yeah, you know what? Nothing to celebrate. Nothing to celebrate. Hussein, Hussein has been on, and he said the club should consider convincing Madrid to see Odegaard stay at the club. Yeah, you know what? If we can convince Real Madrid to give us Martin Odegaard, it would be a very good deal. But if you ask me between Martin Odegaard and Emi Buendia, who do I go for? I think I'll go for Buendia because I need that creativity. We do need that creativity, so I would go for Buendia, honestly. Ratimi says for Arsenal to make top for next season, who do you think we could get considering Arsenal's financial position to achieve this? Okay, brilliant question, really brilliant question. And then Soft Media says, can you tell me about Aguero, Zaha, and Diego Costa? Okay, I'm gonna speak. No, you know what? Okay, let me start with your question, Soft Media. Zaha, Aguero, and Diego Costa. I think none of those will be coming to Arsenal. So make sure just make sure you don't get anything like transfer hopes of a transfer for those. So none of them is really going to sign for Arsenal. Wilfred Zaha, I would have taken him 2-3 years ago. He's a very brilliant player, very brilliant. Especially in terms of a winger that scores you goals. That is Wilfred Zaha. Really very, very brilliant, on the wings. One of those playmakers that you think are perfect for the Premier League. He has the energy, he has the pace, he's athletic. That is Wilfred Zaha for you. He's always on target, he's creating chances. I have no problems with Zaha, that's the truth. I don't have any problems with Wilfred Zaha. But at the moment, I don't take him at Arsenal. Aguero, fantastic striker. He's been at City for what? Has it been 10 years, 8 years? Consistently scoring 20 and above goals per season for 6 consecutive seasons. The best striker we have had in the Premier League in the last decade. He's the best striker. He's signing for Barcelona. Diego Costa is a finished lion, but some time back, before he signed for Chelsea, I would have taken him. Honestly, I would have taken him, but now I can't really take him. But I think what I love about Costa, by the way, is that Tiger, at the front line. That is Diego Costa. He's a tiger. He's a beast. He's gonna push off those defenders, and he's gonna make sure he puts that ball in the back of the net. That's the good thing with that lad. Okay, so according to, let me just answer Rotimi's question. He said, Cossy, for us to make top 4 next season, who do we need to bring in, considering our financial budget? We need a right winger, well, really, a right back. So considering our budget, we could go for either Emerson from Real Betis. It would cost us around 19 to 20 million, or we could actually sign in Tariq Lamptey. Lamptey is another good player. We could also go for Matty Cash from Aston Villa. I think all those are very decent right backs. Very decent. However, if Norwich can settle for less than 40 million, or less than actually 35 million, we could go for Max Aaron. So a right back is a priority. A very good right back is a very, very big priority at the club at the moment. In terms of a backup left back, I could do Ryan Bertrand. Yeah, I could do Ryan Bertrand. So those are 2 players already. In the midfield reinforcement, you need a central midfielder better than Granit Xhaka if you're going to compete with Chelsea, City, Spurs, and United. You need someone who's better than Granit Xhaka as a central midfielder. That is where I would go for Nabil Fekir. Because Fekir is 28 years of age, but you know the quality he has, bro. You know the quality he has. So Nabil Fekir, around 20 million pounds, you go for him. Very, very good midfielder. I'm really considering the budget, because if it's not for the budget, I'm going for Kamavinga, I'm going for Bissouma. But for the budget, you'd rather go for Nabil Fekir. It's gonna give you a lot of quality. Now, attacking midfield, I'm gonna spend the money. We need to spend the money there, and it should be, obviously, honestly, it should be Emi Buendia, either Emi Buendia or Martin Odegaard, one of the two. Then we need a third midfielder, someone who can just sit on that bench. You can either sign in Todd Cantwell or sign in anyone, but a player who sits on the bench, a player that adds a game changer, probably. Yeah, a game changer. But honestly, I don't have any issues with with Emi Buendia and Nabil Fekir. I would do Nabil Fekir, Buendia, Partey in that midfield, and then Aubameyang, Saka, and Pepe, and then have the right team set up. What a performance! Willock on 7 goals in 7 games. By the way, Willock has really put in a very, very great record. He scored more goals than all our midfielders in two seasons combined. It's embarrassing, by the way, really embarrassing. But still, you know what? I wouldn't take Willock back at Arsenal. It's the right time to sell him. It's the right time to sell him, soft media. Saka is not our best, but our exceptional player of this. Good, bro. Thank you so much, Babs. Thank you so much. Saka has been our star. Our star. We've got to accept it, you know. We've got to accept it. Saka's been our star. Geoffrey says Aaron's Kamavinga Buendia and left back up. Aaron's Kamavinga Buendia. Yeah, Kamavinga is a good player. Kamavinga is a very, very good player. And I know many Arsenal fans really do like him. Yeah. Bob says, I still insist that if Elneny wasn't good enough, we would have sold him last season instead of loaning him out. You know what? You know, you talk like you are a Borussia Dortmund fan. Are you a Borussia Dortmund fan? Because it looks like your team, the team you're used to supporting, is used to, you know, straightforward transfers, good transfers. But that's not Arsenal. That's not Arsenal. Let me ask you a question. Why haven't we ever sold Sid Kolasinac? Is he good enough? No, not good enough. Why haven't we ever sold Sid Kolasinac? So it's the nature of Arsenal. Our transfers are poor. That's it. Our transfers are poor. We are always so good at doing bottle jobs. Bottle jobs. That is Arsenal. Nothing else. You know. I would love at least to have 2 people at the end of the season. How did I forget this? 2 people should call in. 2 people should call in. Soft Media says, is Ryan replacing Leno or anyone? I think Matt Ryan will be replacing Alexander Runarsson. Yeah, he will be replacing Alexander Runarsson, who I think has had the worst season in his life. But he will be replacing Runarsson. I think Leno is staying. Yeah, I think Leno is staying. Link is in the comment section. Call in. Please, if you do have anything like a super chat, let it through. And if you want to support, my number is in the description. If you want to support me, my number is in the description. Thank you so much. Pepe has just started finding his footing in the EPL. Hope we see the best of him next season. This is according to Babs. Yeah, you know, that's what I've been saying, bro. That's what I've been saying. That you know, we've not seen much about Nicola Pepe. Honestly, we've not seen much about Nicola Pepe. You know, Arsenal groups, I don't know whether you can see them, but Arsenal groups are so active, very, very active at the moment, very active. And that's what Arsenal fans are made of, you know, always active. But the moment we start losing games, they'll be crying. Hi, Cossy, we need Kroenke out of our club, out of our team. Yeah, this is the problem. You know, honestly, for me, the only gift I can get if we lose Kroenke, if you know. Why did the Leicester City man die? Should be Kroenke, man. Should be Kroenke. I mean, the only happiness we can get this season, if Kroenke sold. If Kroenke sold, I'll be the happiest Arsenal fan. I mean, there is nothing I'll be asking for. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. There's nothing I'll be asking for if Kroenke sold this club. Nothing. Okay, just a minute. All right. Okay, so people, looks like you're not saying anything in the chat. So we can call it a live stream, can't we? And really call it a live stream. Geoffrey says, I think that third midfielder is Osic. Really? I don't think. I think Buendia, Kamavinga, and Hausemua. That would be the perfect summer, wouldn't it? Perfect summer. Buendia, Kamavinga, and Hausemua. That would be the perfect summer. So people, our season has ended. That's been our season. You can wrap it up in 1 or 2 words. Dreadful. For me, that is the word. Dreadful. And we have a caller. One person who gets the chance to call in at the end of the season. So probably we can listen in to their views and see what they have to offer, what they have to say. Hello.
Hello, brother.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How is life?
I'm doing well as well.
Yeah, I'm voice of media.
Yeah.
And I think today's game was called by the manager.
Yeah.
And the experience maybe next season. And people are fantastic. That is my hope. So I think that is it.
Yeah, I think the manager has been a problem, and I cannot really deny that. But do you think probably the players have also been, something to talk about as a problem?
Maybe the performance of the
Yeah.
striker, the finishing line, Aubameyang and Lacazette. Maybe I think Lacazette must be replaced.
So we need to replace Alexander Lacazette.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But do you think we shall do better next season?
May I think because there won't be any more challenge in
Yeah.
keeping players for Europa Champions League.
Yeah.
So I think they may concentrate on Premier League and other cups.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Are you disappointed in our season, or do you think we have improved at the end? Are you happy that we have improved, or you generally disappointed?
Maybe for according to the last games,
Yeah,
it was a good performance.
yeah. So if we keep, yeah, yeah,
Which I think it's good. But I think we would have performed less than 10 games, the last games. We could have opened up that performance which we left behind. I think they thought that they would take Europa and it failed. So they thought that this is their game. For the last games, like 4 games, which was not good. I think that is it.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, our lucky caller, Soft Media, thank you so much for tuning in, bro. Make sure you people all do tune in for the daily transfer episodes that are gonna start tomorrow and Monday. A lot to talk about, this football club. We have had a dreadful season, so we've got to, really speak about the season. We've got to do a lot in terms of speaking about the club and speaking about the season. And honestly, if we are normal, Arsenal should have the biggest transfer window, the biggest. I say now.